make her wedding.
My sister.
Great, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm gonna call the school board meeting to order at 4:53. Could I please get a roll call?
Yes, Jack Sapia,
Hello.
John Woodworth, Eddie Newton.
Here.
Mark Sherwood.
Yes.
Donna Manthorn.
Here.
Bree Woodworth.
Here.
Melissa Kowalski.
Here.
And Neil Hanson.
And if everyone can stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We got some meeting minutes, public and then non-public, yeah?
Yes.
We're gonna do the public ones first. They're the June 19th ones.
Is it possible to shut off that screen behind you? It keeps flipping around from cities to, I don't care, but
Dean's got an ADD suggest otherwise.
Is it your butterfly?
Is it just
what you keep?
thank you, you're great.
Yes,
Something on the minute? Are we
Yeah, go
doing the
ahead.
public meeting?
Yeah.
Yes.
On page 8.
Okay.
There's a motion, the first motion, it said, create 5 paraeducated positions. I think instead of fiscal year 24-25, it should be for academic year 25-26.
Yes.
Correct.
Good catch. Any other catches, amendments to the minutes?
Make a motion to approve meeting minutes for June 19th
As amended.
as amended.
Motion by Mark, seconded by Bree. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed and abstained, 8-0. Alright, then we have one set of non-public.
Make a motion to accept the non-public meeting minutes for June 19th, 2025.
A motion by Shauna, do I have a second?
Second?
Second by Mark, any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed and abstain. Are you for or against, Marion? Okay.
Let's read fast.
Next time say wait.
Paperwork
I
last
said,
too.
I said wait last time.
Alright, so 8-0. Speak up, ma'am. I'm partially deaf in this ear.
Apparently Mark is too.
Oh, right. Gotta switch you guys. Should. Alright, delegates, individuals. I have 3. First up is Deborah DeSimone.
Good evening, Madam Chair,
Good evening.
members, and Superintendent. I'm asking indulgence of the committee and the chair to allow Representative Jay Markell to join me. We'd like to talk to the committee at the request of Member Sapia concerning 2 bills that have passed the House of Representatives. We are both representatives representing District 18 Atkinson.
Who's the other person you're wanting to speak with you?
Representative Jay Markell, who also signed up to be to speak.
Oh, you want to do your time together?
Yes.
Okay, yep, go add. We'll do
Thank you.
6 minutes then.
Mhm.
Okay.
Do your time.
Good to have you both here.
So thank you very much. Member Sapia and I have had a multitude of discussions over the last little more than 2 years concerning cell phone abuse in schools. And the fact that it is extremely distracting to children. And this year, Senate Bill 206, which was passed and signed into law on June 27th, is now a law in the state of New Hampshire, bell to bell, no cell phones in the classroom. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the actual exceptions to the bill, to that, because there are very important exceptions. As we know, the students that we educate have some needs that may require the use of a cell phone. And the legislature worked really hard to make sure that the exceptions would be that students would be allowed if they have IEPs or 504 plans, requiring a device used for learning. That some kids, and quite frankly, my daughter was and is hearing impaired, and a device like this would have been very helpful to her, but she needed to have a hearing partner. So that would be very helpful for them. And as well as for emergent multilingual students needing the support so that they can understand what's being said to them if they are multilingual. And the only issue of concern that I'm hearing, and I'm not hearing it from Timberlane, but I'm hearing from other areas that school districts don't know what to do. Well, it's like most everything else that you do, you create the policy. If a young person tends to do something wrong with their cell phone, that's up to you to decide what the ramifications would be or not be. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about that and open myself up to questions from the board if they have any concerning this particular bill.
I just wanted to thank Deb to come in, and I thought with the timing of it, I don't want parents finding out about this a week before school starts. I think kids and parents and the district needs time to, you guys do your policy thing and give time for people to adjust. I'm sure we'll have a discussion around that, but thank you, Deb.
Well, we do, we're going to, with our policy committee, have to take what we have and we have to look at the state, all the paperwork regarding what's in there and what we have to make sure we're following it. So we are going to, take a look at where we are in each school relative to that and come up to speed. So that said, as far as those questions about consequences and whatnot, might take a little bit of time.
Well, the law goes into effect August 27th,
Right.
so you
Right.
don't have much time, and
Well-
that's why we wanted to come in
Right.
at this point,
I'm gonna
because
pause
you
time real
don't.
quick. Just remember, board members, this is delegates and individuals. It's a time for them to speak. If we have questions afterwards, then we can form and we can send those emails to you, but right now it's time for you all to speak to us. If you wanna give us any more information about this bill, or if you have any other thoughts.
Well, I don't have any other thoughts, but Representative Markell.
Thank you, and I appreciate the opportunity to be able to address you today. I'm also state representative from District 18, Atkinson, and I've looked at the bill, and frankly, I think it's pretty good. I think it's reasonably well drafted. I've got about, prior to becoming a freshman, this is my freshman term as a state rep, but I have approximately 8 to 10 years legislative history in terms of drafting legislation. And as a practicing attorney, I've been drafting legislation for a significant amount of time, and which also included doing the rewrite as a co-drafter on the Parental Bill of Rights. I've looked at this and I think it's pretty well done. What it does is it gives you the flexibility to be able to put things together. And by the way, to be concisely put, if anybody has any questions about how they would like to implement policy, what should go into it, what should go into the rules and regulations, please feel free to contact me, okay? And I'll be happy to provide what advice I can. The key things here that I see is that it makes the proper exceptions for law in terms of IEPs, things like that, where it's going to be reasonably related to the use of the device. Interestingly enough, the first part of it is actually mandatory, but the actual implementation and how you do it is advisory. So it won't constitute an undue burden, and it shouldn't. A couple of the things that may come out initially are going to be notice and opportunity on this particular thing, because it's usually going to be done in conjunction with parents. So looks to me like the kind of thing that I would post on a website. It looks like the kind of thing that I would put in a student handbook in clear language. In terms of discipline for enforcement, I would recommend, as a former high school student myself, and we didn't have cell phones when I was growing up, okay? What I would say would be, perhaps something like progressive discipline for violations, where repeat violations go. First as a sanction, a warning, and then you can go on and on and on. I don't want to use up too much time, but if you have any questions as to how I can help you implement, please reach out. I'll get back to you.
Thank you.
Time, so thank you so much.
I just wanted to let you know that just because we both represent Atkinson, and Atkinson is where we get elected, that doesn't mean that somebody else can't contact us from another community. We are specifically termed state representatives. We are from a particular district, but anybody can contact us. The other issue that I wanted to discuss with you tonight, if I could quickly, is another issue that is going to affect Timberlane District. And again, Timberlane District has really not, to my knowledge, had much of an issue in parental rights and responsibilities. The parental rights bill, Representative Markell and I saw the initial bill. We shuddered, went to the Speaker of the House and said, really? No. So Representative Markell and I pretty much rewrote the entire bill. We didn't need to have our names on it, but it is a bill that I believe that Timberlane's not going to have much of an issue. It did go into effect July 1. I don't see where Timberlane's going to have an issue with it, but if you do, again, it just supports the fundamental rights of the federal Supreme Court and the state Supreme Court that has been given to parents to make sure that the school district provides the proper educational process for their students, including parental input. So again, I don't see where Timberlane's going to have to tweak much, because my kids were all raised in Timberlane. I never had a problem. Mr. Woodworth knows I was at the school frequently. But when I had a question, I got an answer. And so, again, it had nothing to do with Timberlane. It had to do with other school districts that didn't follow the same types of communication process with parents as Timberlane does. And we made sure that it wouldn't be detrimental or difficult for any school district to follow this. And again, Representative Markell may have something to add to what I've said.
Good, thank you, Deb. Concisely put, what this does is, what the bill does, and it's now law. What it does is basically codifies the various rights and responsibilities that children have and parents have with their children. As Representative DeSimone correctly points out, the United States Supreme Court for the last more than 100 years, which has been reaffirmed through various court opinions, have what's called a fundamental liberty interest in raising their children and directing the education of their children. It's well-settled law. In addition to which, it should also be noted that in a case like Troxel v. Granville, which was a landmark case, believe it or not, on a very contentious grandparent visitation situation from 2000, which was very contentious between parents and children and grandparents and so forth, indicated, and that's been reaffirmed through various New Hampshire Supreme Court decisions as well, that fit parents are presumed to be acting in their children's best interest. So if you hear somebody saying, well, this is not in the child's best interest, if the parents are fit, okay, that's the presumption. The other thing is that when we drafted this, we made sure that there were no undue burdens on the school system, because initially the bill was very draconian in terms of the way it was treating educators and treating schools. We were able to say, wait a minute, slow down. Let's put this in proper perspective and make sure that the children's education is being properly handled. And let's make sure also that parental rights are being respectfully and appropriately handled as well. So that's in there. And once again, if there's any questions as to how it was drafted, why it was drafted, how I can help you with procedures, okay, how I can help you implement procedures if needed, please let me know, because what we tried to do was put together a nuanced, balanced bill that protects the rights of children, protects the rights of parents, and at the same time respects the ability of educators to be able to properly educate the children. And basically, if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Well, thank you both for coming.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Pleasure.
Chris True.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the board. First off, I want to make it very crystal clear that I am not casting dispersions on any teacher my son ever had, nor any teacher that your children ever had, nor any teachers that you have known. Looking back for the last 4 years, the assessment proficiency results posted by the New Hampshire Department of Education for the Timberlane Regional School District are nothing short of shocking. For 2024, the assessment proficiency results for the 11th grade, 37% are not grade proficient in English. 73% of the 11th grade are not grade proficient in math. 77% are not grade proficient in science. After the taxpayers of the Timberlane Regional School District have paid hundreds of millions of dollars for this educational system that has failed to educate, I must ask, who is responsible for allowing this gross incompetence and waste of the taxpayers' money to continue year after year? Is it the teachers who are so negligent in their function that they are unable to teach? Is it the administration that year after year simply ignores the testing results and does nothing to bring about the improvement of these dismal testing results? The Timberlane Regional School Board is responsible for ensuring that the Timberlane Regional School District is well run. The proficiency results show to me that the Timberlane Regional School Board is negligent in their job function. The Timberlane Regional School Board is responsible for ensuring the children of the Timberlane Regional School District are educated. And the Timberlane Regional School District hands out diplomas to students when 37% can't perform at grade level in English and over 70% can't perform at grade level in math and science. That shows to me that the Timberlane Regional School Board is negligent in their job function. Timberlane Regional School Board is now preparing for the 2025 school year. My expectation is that the Timberlane Regional School Board will establish policies so that the superintendent is charged with and held responsible to bring about the constant improvement of the Timberlane Regional School District testing results starting with the year 2025. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Do we have any other delegates or individuals? I get a motion to move the 15 minutes remaining of delegates and individuals to end the meeting. So, we'll give it to Jack. Do I have a second? Second by Marion. All right, any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed and abstained, 8-0-0. All right, cool. Let's see. We don't have student rep on here, but did you have something? No?
I can talk.
I don't need word vomit. All right. So we have a current two quick hopefully quick actions, and then we'll get to the meat and potatoes of our school board goals and have those talks. But first, we got a request for proposals for waste management. I believe this is you, Dr. Martin?
It is.
Okay.
Let's talk trash. Let's talk waste management, excuse me. And I appreciate the board taking this evening because we're proposing to change vendors. And it is extremely timely because containers need to be swapped out, et cetera, et cetera. As you can see, we are proposing to move to K-Town disposal. We've asked, as the board has requested, we have asked for a 3-year contract from K-Town. I understand there was some question about what we have spent in the past. I will give you an estimate that we have budgeted some $90,000 plus for waste removal. The cost of waste removal is really dependent upon how many rolling dumpsters we'll need in certain years, if there's any waste, any thing in our recycling that's, not supposed to be there, et cetera, et cetera. So that you can see the bids, the 1, 2, 3, 4 bids that came in. I will also would also like to share, and that thought just left my mind. We had great conversations with the vendor K-Town and look forward to working with this individual. The thought. There was a question about, can someone explain the model of why the increase in year 2 and 3 for each of the bids? It appears to be a business model of this type of vendor, and not being in that business, I could not really speak to that. But that is what I'm aware of.
Is it always a 3-year, or could you go 1 year at a time? And I only ask that because maybe it would be less if we do 1 year.
I can do whatever the board instructs the superintendent to instruct me to do. I serve at the pleasure of the superintendent.
As a point of clarification, it was somebody in this room who shall remain nameless that insisted upon not just 1 year, but a multi-year contract as well, to see if we could derive any future savings. So
Right.
I created a good deal of extra work for Dr. Martin here with that. The results speak for themselves, but if you don't ask the question, you don't know.
But also, thank you, excuse me for interrupting. Also be mindful, this is going to be an enormous transition project because every one of our dumpsters needs to be picked up. So if we did this on a yearly basis, it's either your time or your money, as Mother would say.
Well, look, sorry if I can
No,
add
go-
on to
yeah,
that.
go ahead, Bree.
It looks like the year 3 is still cheaper than some of the year 1s, so
Mhm, yes.
your budget looks sound.
So is that, hold on just 1 second, Jack. So year 1, so what we're seeing in this is what the cost would be for year 1, year 2, and year 3, or is
Correct.
that? Okay, all right, that makes sense. Go ahead, Jack.
Yeah, so I think, to be fair, I think most waste management contracts are typically multi-yeared.
Yeah.
The other question I have for Dr. Martin is,
Sure.
I have not heard of this company. Do we have recommendations with this?
Yep, we do.
Okay. I'm
And
sorry, I was scouring around.
Yep.
No,
If you look at her executive summary, it says K-Town Disposal is a local vendor whose reputation was validated through inquiries with school districts in the area. But did you want to add something?
I spoke to the facilities people in Exeter. This company does 3 of their towns, and then in the town, they do the town of Pelham, in addition to all of their schools. They were very, very favorable responses.
Good enough for me, thank you. I'm
Right.
sharing a computer.
Marion.
So you mentioned that this year all the old dumpsters have to be taken out and these new ones. Is there additional cost for the removal of the dumpsters?
There is not. It's all figured in.
So I still don't quite understand why all of these vendors had the year 1 to year 2 was a 20% plus increase. And year 2 to 3 is a very small increase. I don't understand that, but
I wish I could speak to that.
industry.
I believe it is, in talking with other folks, it is an industry model.
I have an assumption if you wanna hear it.
Please.
My assumption would be, pest control, I think, is difficult. We think about our own homes.
Waste management.
Waste management, I'm sorry. Once they get in there and figure out the needs, and there's all the transportation stuff in the background of that's my guess, is that they're gonna figure out more needs that you're gonna have that second year.
It's
So we kind
I don't know anything, I don't work in the industry.
So we get the first year a little bit discounted and can pick it up.
That's how they get you.
That makes sense to me.
Alright,
Yes.
someone wanna make a
Make a
motion?
motion to approve entering into a 3-year contract with K-Town Disposal for the district's waste management services at a total of $157,405.
I have a motion by Shauna, do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Alyssa, any other discussion? Alright, all those in favor? Opposed and abstain, 8-0. Alright, cool. And then I believe you have the next one for pest control.
Yes, we went from trash to pests. So you will note that we are looking to continue our relationship with Pest End, which is a company from Plastow, New Hampshire. You can see that in the initial month in the Pest End bid, obviously there's nothing there, and that's because all of the traps that are currently in place belong to Pest End. If we were to go with a different company, the state will not allow them to use another company's traps. They're actually, I don't know, registered or whatever. We're proposing this to continue with Pest End, noting that it is an increase. However, they know our buildings. They know all of the intricacies of our buildings. They know where the problems have been in the past, where they have mitigated what needs to be done with more frequency, et cetera. And that alone is I think that we will eliminate the bumps and bruises of transition there. They've also waived the installation fees over the years, which has been very generous of our local company, and their prompt response to emergencies is exceptional. And I'll give you an example. Unlike in our home where I can buy a can of spray to take care of a bee's nest, we can't do that in schools. That has to be done by a company that has a certification to do that in order to make sure that the air quality does not negatively impact air quality. So in the months of October and November, when it starts to get cool and the bees and so forth are trying to find a place in our schools, the quick calls to them are addressing those issues.
Any questions about pest end?
Not too much question, just.
Go, Don.
It just seems like, you don't have much, I mean, they're very dissimilar, the costs.
They are.
And I don't have a way to, understand beyond
Sure.
familiarity,
Right.
If they're all effective and we have, evidence that they're all effective, why would we still go with that?
This is the challenge in speaking about this in public. Would never want to disparage anyone's business. I'm sure they're all effective, but we know what Pest End can do for us. We have the quality assurance of their previous experience. Also, sometimes if it looks, yes, we have I won't speak any further than that, but yes, you're right, there is a disparaging
I think Justin has
price.
something for some clarification.
Yeah, Don, to that and to the rest of the members of the board, I think Dr. Martin and I just have some concerns with the price points of the other companies. That they may just be too good to be true, and that there's not a full understanding of what our needs are there.
Mark and then Marion.
Not to belabor it, is this a very time sensitive one? If not, or perhaps even preceding that, have you reached out to other districts that have utilized the other two vendors to see if they've been satisfied with the work? Because as Don pointed out, there is a price delta that, it could be too good to be true. Those are my words, not anybody else's, speaking as an individual.
So if I may, Madam Chair, we would need to request the grace of Pest End to continue a monthly, the contract has expired. They gave us till the end of July to make up our mind what we were gonna do. And we would have to look for their grace to go forward again. We could go out to RFP. We could
I could request references from these other companies, but then I'm relying on Peston to be gracious and give us another month. And I can explain to you why the timely issue, why, I could explain to you in another non-public session why we're at where
Understood.
we're at in a timeframe.
Marianne?
So I saw the per service visits, are all those service visits requested by the district's buildings, or do they come several times a year with regularly?
There's a schedule with each building except for the SAU where it's on an as-needed basis. But they also call, let's see, for example, if a pest is seen in a school, the custodian will call to have the issue addressed immediately.
Jack?
Yeah, I'm kind of with Mark on this, and I mean, lately we've been kind of going with who we feel comfortable with instead of following, and I do understand that and respect that and agree with it to a certain point, but at some point, you gotta respect the other companies coming in, giving us pricing, being more competitive. I mean, basically, we're setting ourselves up, although I do appreciate where Dr. Martin's coming from, but I don't see that being a problem for a month. And can't we do this in a couple days? I mean, is it gonna take a whole 14 days to get those other numbers or get the background information that we need?
Well, if you say, if the board takes action and says no, then we want them to go through the RFP process. So Pest End they'll have to contact them and say, hey, will you give us another month? Pest End can say, nope, sorry, so then we're out a month. And then however long the policy states for them to go through RFPs and do all that stuff.
14 days.
Yeah, so that's what we would have. Pest End and then Dr. Martin.
Just, this could be a little bit of a different situation, again, sharing information. This is a health and wellness issue for the children that are in our schools. So I just wanted the board to consider like the need for us to have faith in the company that we call, that they're gonna come out and do it immediately in the right way. That means a great deal to us here, and it's not a piece of equipment we're purchasing, or it's not something that's gonna be static. It's a health and wellness in our schools.
Yeah, Marianne, sorry.
So I know we were moving towards 3-year agreements to see if there were cost savings. Since all of these said no increase over the 3 years, is it possible to move forward with just a 1-year contract and look at perhaps other vendors for next, for a renewal later on?
It's absolutely, Madam Chair, if I may, it's absolutely possible for us to go forward with a 1-year agreement. And there's no RFP required because it's under $20,000.
So board, you get two options. Either you can make the motion to do this for 3 years, or you can make a motion for 1 year.
I would like to make the recommendation that we consider the 1 year, which will give us the time to do increased due diligence, 12 months from now. For the others, find out what their, reputational shadow is and make that determination then. Otherwise, we, stay with the company that has served us very well.
Is that a motion?
I would like to make a motion for entering into an agreement with Pest End for a 1-year contract for $17,580.
All right, I have a motion by Mark. Do I have a second? Second by Marianne. Did you guys is that okay? I mean, is that gonna,
And it's perfectly fine.
any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed and abstain. One abstention, 7-0-1. Okay. I think that's it up until our school board goals. All right, cool. So you all have, I passed out a copy of them. Does everybody have one? So you've got the 2024, 2025 goals. On the back was our 23, 24 goals. I made sure you all had these in advance to look over them. Any questions, comments, concerns? Do we want to keep the same goals? Do we want to go goal by goal, Shauna? And then I know Marianne has quite a few.
I think Bree and I probably have similar questions because we had chatted about it at
Okay.
another conversation, but In regards to community connection and communication, the first three goals, I'm just looking to potentially get a little bit of feedback or update on them. So develop a 5-year strategic plan for implementation by March 1st, 2028. Finalize and approve a 5-year strategic plan for the 2029 through 2034 period. And exploring alternative methods of district efficacy outcomes, including but not limited to strategic planning, because I know there was some discussion about potentially not going with a strategic plan.
I think we're gonna go with the strategic plan because it doesn't need to meet currently, was the reason the committee kind of got washed a little bit, right? Is that what we,
Yes.
That's not my understanding.
oh, Bree, go.
So I would like the board to consider moving from a strategic plan towards a mission statement and aligning our decisions towards that.
We do have a mission statement.
Yes, we do. And so I would like the mission statement more to be reflected than the strategic plan.
In the community connection and communication section of our goals.
Just
Got it.
general, but yes.
Okay. That makes sense.
So you're wanting to go away from a strategic plan altogether?
Yes.
There certainly is a trend in education, and I think we talked about this at some of the committee meetings regarding districts moving away from that kind of arduous process of creating a strategic plan that's traditionally many pages long and is condensed with dense information, and simplifying things and being more transparent and communicative with the community. So there's a trend moving in that direction. If you are looking for our input here, we would be excited to explore that possibility and move to something that may be more flexible and give us a more clear target to head toward versus a 30 or 50 or 100 page document.
So, hold on, Jack, did you have something?
I'll let Dawn go first.
Okay. Dawn, and then who else had their hand up? So Dawn, Marianne, and then Jack.
Well, I appreciate you alluding to, like last year, you did introduce that as something that we should probably take a look at. You'd be happy to, give us some sort of almost education on that process and how it's developed. I am not up to speed on that. So I don't know quite how to address that at this point, except to say that I think it's a good conversation to have, and if there's a better way to do things that doesn't eliminate the input that we get from the community with the strategic plan, then I'd be supportive of it.
Marianne.
With the mission statement is a district mission statement that is developed with board, community, and administration. Is that, you said we have one, I don't
We do
know
have
the
a mission
history.
statement, it's at the bottom of your, yeah.
So,
okay.
are there goals associated with the mission statement?
Well, we're creating the goals. So we have a mission statement where we're creating the goals currently.
Nice.
Yeah.
So that's a mission of the district. These are school board goals.
Correct.
So,
Cause we come up with the goals and then the super comes up and makes them operational.
I think she's asking, is this considered our mission
Oh.
statement as a board?
As a board.
Oh.
Yes, that's what
It's a-
she's
yeah,
trying
it's
to
a
say.
district.
Yeah, cause it's,
But that's what she's trying to
It's
say.
not specific just to us, however.
Do you wanna see this? Let me see. Yes.
it's not on mine.
I didn't get it either.
while she's reading that, Jack.
So is this a time, is it appropriate right now, cause I know we're kind of dealing with what Bree just said, to suggest a goal.
Is it about this right now? About what we're talking about the strategic plan, or is it something else down the
No,
road?
it's not about the strategic plan, it's just one of the goals under learning, so.
Can
we're
you
gonna
hang on to that
sideline
thought
it.
just for a
Yeah,
second?
that-
Okay, so hearing input from that, and then Marian, I'll let you get back to it, from this, then looking at our community connections and communications, why don't we get rid of goal 1 and 2? And looking and making goal 3, where it says explore alternative methods of district efficacy outcome measures, including but not limited to strategic planning, cause that could give you,
That's what I like.
so, okay, so
Eliminate
we'll,
1, 2, but keep 3.
right,
That leaves it open for maybe we do want the strategic plan, maybe we don't, maybe.
right.
Maybe we want a portrait of a learner or a graduate or other ways to kind of push decision making to move toward a point.
So consensus from the board, are we good with getting rid of 1 and 2, but keeping 3?
Yes.
Okay. Marion, did you have another thought on this or something else?
No, I just had a question about 3, like what are some examples of measures that were explored in the past year? This was a goal last year, so what was done on that? Was anything done?
Yeah, I mean, the primary piece around that, Marianne, is the alternative learning program over at the high school.
Okay,
So ways that kids can demonstrate knowledge and skills that is not traditional in terms of sitting in a classroom and doing those things, and then bringing them here and allowing that work to kind of be publicly seen and commented on.
Yeah, our goal should be broad reaching and not extremely specific. So that's why it was that. But Jack, go ahead.
Yeah, so around that, although I understand and appreciate and agree with the administration as to how many different things we do around learning and how all things don't fit all students, at the end of the day, a prior speaker brought up a very good point. The bar that everybody looks at is the proficiency rates. We cannot get around that.
Right.
And my feeling on that is if all those other things are working, then those proficiency rates should go up and reflect that other work that's being done. What I would like to see is for the board to challenge the administration and all of us to work together along with the community and set a goal and a stretch goal for those proficiency rates. We can't keep, I mean, it affects our property values, it affects how kids feel about the school. I mean, and this is all we hear about and we've got to deal with it. It's a point of accountability. So whether it's to raise, you know, our goal is to raise those proficiency rates by, and it's a goal. It's if it's 10%, it's 10%, if it's 15%, and then with a stretch goal. That's what most really organizations that are successful do. They set their goals at the beginning of the year and trust me when I tell you, it doesn't get lost on me, the things that are done around here. That do, you know, it's, as I had a conversation last week around this, it's one test on one day for 3 hours that lasts a year. We don't even have the results from last year yet, is my understanding of it.
Yeah.
But we've got to address this. We've got to be out in front of this. We've got to be out in front of the public with this, whether we like it or not. It's part of what everybody does, what everybody looks at.
So I would like to maybe challenge the public to understand the narrative that yes, it is one test, yes, it is on one day, yes, students can opt out of it, and if they do, we get a 0%, which
get it.
affects it strongly. And yes, all students don't learn or test equally. And so again, a very intelligent scientist once said, if we're testing all animals on how well they can climb a tree, how's a fish gonna succeed?
Would that be you? No. No, well, to that point, and
You better be careful,
Paul and
Jack.
I and Mark had this, we've had this discussion in the past. All the other schools have those same challenges, have those same nuances, if their kids don't show up, and it's consistently Bedford, Hanover, all those same schools that excel. Wyndham is always in the top 10. So I was used to being Timberlane being in the top quartile, something to be proud of, really. So I just think whether it is a reflection of our success at some point in time, and just to say, although, and I agree with everything you just said, Blake, everything. But all those other schools have those same challenges, and I don't believe that kids in one town are that much smarter than kids in another town. I don't believe that, or district, should I say.
Well,
So,
it's not, they're just one thing looking across all district. There's a multitude of things that contribute. So I
get
mean,
it.
I think we know that, but Sandy and her team has done a really good job of coming to us and showing us where the kids were pre-COVID, during COVID, and now, and the numbers are going up. And a lot of the areas we're above state average, are we not? So.
Yeah, but we,
Maybe, but no, but I see exactly what you're saying. So maybe should, in the community connection and communication, should we establish a goal to get effective information out to the public?
I think you have to do both. I
Right,
agree
so
with
that's what I'm
you
saying. So
just
let's go
said.
back to the goal.
Let's do
So
that, let's.
Yeah.
the proficiency rates are a reflection of everything else that we're doing. If everything else we're doing is, because I believe with all my heart and soul that all those other things fall into place, the kid can read by third grade, right? And those should be is to have the greater percentage of those kids being able to do that at any given time. And I won't believe, I'm not the educator in the room, I will freely admit that. And probably a few people would admit that for me, Justin. But this is what people look at, and they've got to see us taking measuring this and our improvement on this. And yes, we outperformed the state, but I won't get into that, but it is what it is.
Mark and then Marion.
Philosophically, you and I don't agree on much. We do kind of line up on this one, and I know it goes against the grain, and I may be in a minority position on the board for this. Before being on the board, I did not appreciate all the unique, discrete, and non-public things that you folks do to support our students and some of the in very non-traditional ways. And they derive the benefit of that, which will last lifetimes, which are not reflective in any standardized test score. I think that's wonderful. I'm hoping that being able to aim at both goals is not at a cross purpose, because as Jack alluded to, other schools have some of the same issues. You can't, to use Bree's analogy, judge an animal by how it can climb a tree, but there are fish ladders, right? And so these are some of the things, these are some of the things that you have done remarkably well to take non-traditional approaches to allowing students to achieve success that aren't necessarily reflected on the SAT. But every district, ours included perhaps more than most, is judged by the public by that. We're doing better than the state on many of these, if not most of these. We can't judge ourselves just by the state. There are demographic and socioeconomic shifts that people may not want to discuss. It may be politically inappropriate to, so I won't touch that third rail yet. So why don't we judge ourselves, by our student population? As Sandy had pointed out very successfully, as we had approached the post-COVID and closed the gaps with proficiencies much higher than would have been randomly predicted. And that only happens through diligence and good work. And it was heartening for me to see that, because it does suggest that some of the non-traditional approaches actually are effective, but we cannot ignore the fact that the community, for most of them that don't have kids that are deriving the benefit of this, they just look at the number and why should they be paying when we appear on a standardized test compared to our compatriots across the state. We're doing better, but we're not as good as we had been. I would challenge this board to come up with some sort of way to challenge us as a district, our administration, our teachers, to, on a standardized manner, improve year over year. I know that's what we're aiming at, but I think we may have taken our eye off the ball a little bit. Sorry that was long-winded. I hope you understand what I was,
I just wanna know what these fish ladders look like. Marion?
So part of, I think this particular goal with exploring alternative methods of district efficacy outcome measures, I think it's measuring the success of the things we're doing and putting, how this whatever went from here to here when we implemented this program, because I think if we can present measures other than standardized tests to show what we've done, then I do think that will be very helpful. And I also hadn't seen before yesterday the 22-23 school board goals, and under administration, there was one, identify a comparison group of New Hampshire school districts and use the individual district and aggregate data as metrics to gauge TRSD's student academic achievement and academic growth patterns. It's not in the paper, it's the last
It's the year,
Oh,
it's
okay.
that year after that one.
Sorry, I had it printed out. I think if we do, like you said, not all districts are the same, but there are some districts like ours.
Mhm.
And if we focused on comparing ourselves to their trends, we might present something that would be useful. I don't know why that goal disappeared from 22-23 to the next 2 years.
If I may, I think it's because we did identify that group of
Okay.
districts and
Yes, that's exactly why.
we have been tracking that data for the past 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
Not a reason to not bring it back up. But in any case, we do have a data set where we compare ourselves against 25 other school districts as well as the state with regard to the state assessment data. And they're primarily in the South Central region from Concord South out to the seacoast and about as far west as Ware. That said, they're not necessarily comparative. They're not all regional districts. Their socioeconomic status of our district compared to others is not the same, staffing, funding. So there are so many different variables that to identify a comparison group, you almost have to be really specific about what are we looking at, right? So for that reason, we went a little bit more generic and regional as opposed to trying to really say, okay, we're a regional cooperative school district. We're only going to compare against those, or we're going to look at towns that have similar makeups, right, with regard to business and things like that. So in any case, we started that back in, I want to say 2021, and we've been tracking that data since then, so.
It might be a matter of looking at that
Yep.
data.
So then just real quick, and I see Mark and Jack, but so then looking back at our goals, then so like what Marion brought up about like, yes, we understand proficiencies. We're always gonna have that hanging over our head. But we've done so much in the last couple of years of providing different opportunities. Should one of our goals to community and connections and communications be something to the effect of getting that out more so that they can see, like what you stated, like, yes, we implemented this program, this is what this did. I mean, we were looking at something for budgetary stuff that like it was going to keep, this was what, the first year that we were going to have all elementary students in-house and not have to go out to other districts. Like those are wins. So should we maybe develop a goal that regularly we can get that information out so it's just not like blaring in the face, oh, SATs and proficiencies. It's like, yes, that's it. These are the reasons, but look at all this other stuff we're able to do. This is the other measures of success. I mean, what does the board think about that? Jack, and then I'll let Mark.
So I think that's a great idea, I do. But let me just get back to, it is great that we have a goal that says we're gonna have these measurable things. In the world that I lived in, I would set goals, sales goals, and me and my boss would sit down together. And I couldn't just say to do better. I would have to say to increase sales by 35%, to increase or whatever the number is, to increase demand forecasting accuracy by 10%. I think you gotta quantify and set a goal for ourselves to how much and it has to be realistic. It can't be ridiculous. It can't be, 78% because even I understand you're never gonna get to 100%. And those top tier schools, the top 4 or 5 are at 78%, and they get everything clicking for them. I mean, to be fair to Timberlane. So if you say a marked improvement of 5% or whatever that number is, year over year, I think the residents would appreciate that and understand that that's part of what you want to communicate to everybody. In addition to kind of what I'm saying is, you've got to set a percentage number or a number on that, or else it's meaningless, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Mark
just
and then Melissa.
I agree with you, and it can't be set in stone, and we don't want to tie our teachers' hands so that they're just teaching to the test. I think that is what we're trying to get away from, because we know, great, the test scores go up, but the preparation for the students is not necessarily reflective of that, but we cannot ignore it. So example, what Sandy had presented, it showed class by class, following year by year, some of the gaps, and we did have some gaps due to COVID specifically, that were made up and those gaps were closed. I would like to see something similar with, unfortunately, I hate to say it, sorry guys, with a standardized test, have a goal being increase proficiency by 3% over the next 3 years. That's low hanging fruit, but it's taking a baseline from where we currently are, our population, our students, our towns, and aiming to at least do a little bit more and keep an eye on it. If there's not visibility on it, I'm afraid it will slip through the cracks.
To even be fair, I'm sorry.
Hold up, Alyssa, she's not had a chance yet.
I would like to hear if Sandy has maybe a number, maybe you have a number in your mind, because I mean, I know you're the one that's looking at a lot of those proficiency scores. What would be a reasonable goal for us to ask for if we did wanna do that, like a number? What would be a reasonable increase in our scores?
I would
What is-
wanna look at the data, full disclosure, I'm not trying to
Look at
avoid
it
the
more.
question. I would wanna dig into, right, recent years. We're talking about different cohorts of students every year. So if the goal is specific to district assessment results, I think that's a little bit more achievable because it's holistic. It's students in grades 3 through 8 plus grade 11. If we are tracking one specific cohort, grade 11, for example, those are completely different sets of students year to year. So I guess sort of an answer. I would wanna go back again and track kind of where we're at. I think 3%, is a reasonable based on trends and things like that. I would advocate for district, looking at it from a district lens as opposed to grade level specific SATs alone, for example. And looking at including other data measures as well and measures of success.
Bree.
If we want
And then Jack.
specific numbers, I would more like to focus on students taking the test. I would like to increase that percentage, because I think that would actually show what is happening.
Less
and
zeros
actually
averaged in, right?
increase. And so I think I would want that goal more to state increasing how many students are sitting for those tests to better give us the data of what is being achieved and see an increase in that personally.
I'm gonna let Don then Jack.
A number of things that crossed my mind here over time, over the last 10 years, the whole state has decreased similarly, to what we've experienced in terms of scores that kids were getting on the average at schools is less now. And at the same time, the goals set forth by the state education department have taken us in a different direction, different focus, changing instructional expectations of teachers and content versus, when I say content, like rote content type of pieces, versus critical thinking, other types of, more ambitious creative thought, activity-based experiential, education, outcome-based education, takes us in a little bit different, direction. How do we do both very well? What suffers for the other?
Right.
And I think the state might be experiencing some of that. And if we wanna change the direction of society's needs, so that we need a different type of a student graduating, we can go all content. But if we wanna be going with the cheese, I think we have to expand what we're doing and continue to try to find ways to do both things well. So while I think we need to keep an eye on basic abilities, you have to realize tools have changed, the way people access information and use it in a much faster way than you're going to do by computing or handwriting or, certain specific skills. You have to be careful what you throw out, and how that will hurt us, to achieve a goal that might be becoming,
Absolutely.
antiquated.
Yeah.
And that's hard to say. I mean, you don't wanna lose those skills. I hate when I find that kids, can't do things that I thought, all of us had to learn when I was in school. But they seem to be doing okay, getting jobs and doing well when they graduate college, high school and college. So I think there's, something to be careful about in being too aggressive about just content pieces.
Yeah, so all good, very good conversation. I see other people that have things. Let's do this because it's all good conversations. Our goals, if the ones who were still here when we had that New Hampshire school board rep come and talk to us, our goal should be broad reaching. Shauna, correct me if I'm wrong if you were there. So some of the stuff is gonna be very broad, but then like the 3% and stuff like that, that's stuff we can do after the fact in directing, like give Sandy and them time to figure out and we can still appease both those. So let's do this so that we can actually get through this. Let's look at learning. So we went ahead and did some of the community connections, communication. We got rid of 1 and 2, we were good with that and kept 3. But let's look at learning and let's see if there's something we want to tweak on any of those to maybe conform or still do with what we're doing right now. So I want everybody to look at those right now.
I have one question on learning.
Yeah, go ahead.
Last year, there was a switch from K to 5 to K to 12 in bullet 3 under learning.
Yeah.
Why was the focus changed to K-12 as opposed to K-5, or was there a specific focus one year for elementary?
I'm just wanting to.
Originally, the first year was based off of Sandy, help me. I remember Mrs. Kanotis being here talking about that was a big focus in trying to streamline what was happening in K through 5, because what was happening in Pollard wasn't necessarily aligning with Atkinson. And so to focus on that for that particular year, and then we got some data and information that showed that that was the case, but now it needs to continue as they leave grade 5, go all the way through. So streamlining the entire educational experience, but the initial focus was that K through 5.
Correct. Did you want to add anything? Sandy?
No, just that some of the
Thank you, Shauna.
conversation, I believe, focused on in looking at data, identifying potential areas of concern with transition, right? So grade 6, for example, annually is an area where we do see dips in student performance. So as all of our students from our towns merge and go to secondary, begin that process, that was an area that we wanted to make sure we were really focusing on. So I think just expanding to secondary to include that made a lot of sense. And it was a little bit more general and just echoed that, right, the goal around alignment in those areas wasn't exclusive to elementary. So
Alyssa and then Jack.
Just a random question on number 2. Should that say preschool instead of pre-K? Because we do offer preschool.
we do.
Should that be changed?
Is it pre-K, preschool?
So instead of saying pre-K, yeah, so they are different years. Preschool is the 3-year-olds, I think 3 to 4 maybe,
3 and
Three.
pre-K is 4.
and pre-K is the
Oh, the
4-year-olds.
four.
So
Did not
they
know
are
that.
separate classes, yeah, that's why I asked.
So do we want to do?
Make a motion to.
We don't have to make a motion. We'll just talk about it. So okay, so number 2, we want to say preschool through 12. Is that right? Okay.
It's just, I figured we offer it, so I just wanted to make sure that that was included.
No, good catch. All right, looking at goal number 1. It states further enhance personalized learning through STEM, SEL, vocational dual enrollment, non-traditional and extended learning opportunities through policy and budgetary development and implementation as reported by administration. Do we want to keep that? Do we want to change it? Keep it?
I like it.
Okay, all right, so 1's good. Are we good with 2, with the addition of preschool through 12 instead of pre-K? Are we okay with 2? Okay. Nope. Someone have questions? Nope, Shauna, go.
We
I was wanting to think there was.
provide services beyond grade 12 through age 22 for certain populations of students.
That's true, but when we did this.
And if we're including preschool,
But do
Or just
we,
say of district students.
are we even tracking, I hate to say this, I know we are, but are we tracking in a meaningful way? Are those non-traditional, are we including, the after school, the summer programs for non-traditional students? I'm not familiar with getting much of that information here.
I think my point would be to take out the actual grade levels in this and say approve professional development opportunities that align with enhancing personalized learning for the students
All
of the
students,
Timberlane
yeah.
Regional School
I
District.
think so.
All right, there you go. I think that encompasses everyone.
Linda's writing fast.
I am also editing.
I love you.
All students.
Yeah, all
All
students.
students.
All right, so we're good with 2. Thank you, Shauna, for catching that. You're 100% correct. All right, 3, monitor the alignment of K through 12 instruction, assessment, and reporting to build consistency across the district related to personalized student learning.
I think that brings us back to the.
District-wide instruction.
I love that.
Yeah. I was just gonna say that. Do we need to change that one?
And also for assessment, I'll throw this up in the air to be hit down again.
No one's hitting you down, man.
So I think traditional and non-traditional assessment methodologies or something like that. I don't want it to get lost.
Which one are you on? I'm sorry.
On number
Three.
three.
Oh, okay, sorry. District-wide instruction.
Well, I think that's why the personalized student learning kind of was placed in there.
Along with assessment, because we use those as assessments.
Yeah, so the personalized is very different than standard, they're at
So you
polar
wanna say
opposites.
standardized and non-standardized assessment?
Sorry, my 2 cents.
No, please,
The word
please.
assessment does not automatically refer to standardized state assessments. So assessment practices in general in the district could include something as informal in a classroom as show of hands, thumbs up. That's an assessment ranging up to state assessment. So I think the more generic, the more inclusive that term is of all the forms of assessment that we currently practice.
I don't want it to be so generalized that we ignore my earlier recommendation and to generalize to that. An assessment is Johnny in school today. Oh, that's an assessment of his attendance. No, isn't it? But that's not what I'm talking
Yeah,
about here.
understood.
Okay, well then let's see what we can word.
So we could say standardized and non-standardized assessment. So that's what we say in the OT world, because that could be informal or formal observation, formal or informal participation, formal or informal competency-based learning. Am I there?
Getting close.
That way we have both of those opportunities.
I like that. Jack, and then I think Mary
Sandy,
Ann's
thank you for your-
contemplating.
That was 25 cents worth more than 2 cents. What I'd like to see is at the end of the year, because we understand the limitations of standardized assessment.
Yeah.
Have a report card that right next to those test results that Mark and I have been talking about, have how many kids are going through the vocational process, how many, like, you've gotta combine all those things onto a single, I don't know if you can do it, but in my mind, it would be nice to acknowledge everything at once so people understand that it's more than the 3 hours on the one day. But here's part of what but it should all come out. I don't know if you can do it. I don't know if you can do all those assessments on one.
We're talking really granular here, and I think we're on the same page
Yeah.
here. For this, we need to get a bit more broad. I just don't want it to get lost
I just,
in the woodwork.
conceptually, that's kinda,
Yeah,
And that can be what you're talking about. That can be down to the connections and communications, right? Like when we get to that point, like what grade card can we do? Like, hey, our graduating class, this is how many went to Ivy League schools, this is how many went to the armed forces, like, we could do something, something like that. But Bree,
Maybe you just make the adjustment, monitor and communicate the alignment, and so then again, you're disseminating that data.
where are you looking at 3?
I'm just saying adding the words and communicate.
To what number? I'm sorry.
3.
Already 3.
Oh, instead of monitor the alignment, say monitor and communicate the alignment?
So then again, it's bringing that data forward, bringing those assessments forward.
but it's not asking for any improvement. We could report that we decreased proficiency by 10% in grade 3 through 5. That's projecting that. But that's not a challenge to place your eye on the ball and say, hey, let's have a little incremental
I would
increase.
like.
But it is to build consistency across the district related to personalized student learning.
Yeah, so they all drop 10%.
And so again, I
But
want to
then we
make
can ask
sure-
about the personalized learning that occurred.
Let Bree.
Sorry.
So I would like to, again, communicate, get all the facts instead of looking at this one thing and making a goal off of one thing.
Marion.
But I still want more students to do it.
So I was thinking about, instead of trying to build more of what we've been talking about with proficiency data into that goal, to add a goal that says use a comparison group of New Hampshire school districts to evaluate recent state proficiency data and establish TRSD goals for the upcoming years.
Or you want to add that
Under
to?
learning or communication, I'm sorry.
I think it's more about learning.
It would be
So-
considered more
I
about
think
learning.
we do need to do a better job
You
of
wanna do it just
presenting it.
with the state, with comparative, which could be open to interpretation, or with our history? What are we doing as a district?
I think if we use that data and evaluate it, we can
Extrapolate from there.
whatever we wanna say about it, we can
So say your-
Yeah.
Say it again.
Read your goal one more time.
Use a comparison group of New Hampshire school districts to evaluate recent state proficiency data and establish TRSD goals for the upcoming years.
Using, I lost you at using. Using state,
Evaluate recent state proficiency data and establish TRSD goals for the upcoming years. Do you wanna read it? It's written.
If I could just make the suggestion, maybe not just have comparison, because who are we gonna compare ourselves to? We're not gonna do it to Bedford or Exeter, that's for certain, so do we do it to Manchester? Absolutely not. I mean, so that's too open to interpretation, I
So,
think,
I mean, I think
we could cherry pick.
Sandy told me we have a comparison
We've been comparing
group,
ourselves
so we
against a set of
could,
25 districts around the south central region.
and we could maybe whittle that down for this specific purpose, or maybe all 25
Can we
makes
do
sense.
both?
Done.
I do like kind of the idea of separating things out a little bit to not lose the focus of the original goal here regarding personalized learning. That said, if we're gonna be talking about, making changes to improve proficiency pieces and we're wanna keep track of where we are, I think that some of the stuff that we've done in the past, like Sandy, are we still doing some common summative assessments across each grade?
The middle and high school, yes. The elementary schools have worked on developing common math assessments for every unit of instruction. So yes.
So I think those things, if we are careful to make sure that those assessments are aligned with the standardized, testing that we're gearing kids up for, would be a good goal to focus on that, something that builds the bridge to the specific, skill set that is coming into focus here, is something that we're interested in improving.
You two
But
both
it
sold me.
doesn't, but it
Yep.
doesn't dismantle or obfuscate the goal of personalized learning.
I agree, I think that's a wonderful marriage. Your two thoughts, yep.
If you could create a verbiage for that,
So, well, I think,
Yikes.
You know what I'm trying to say?
I think under
Sort of.
learning, number 3 has that. It's
agree.
district-wide assessment information. I think the shortcoming of district-wide assessment, common summatives across disciplines and grades, you lose comparison of Timberlane to the rest of the state. So I think we need some measures that compare us to other schools or present us in a more favorable light than what the public is seeing now. And I think we can only get that by looking at things that are measured from district to district, school to school.
I'll accept that logic.
Alright, so we'll keep 3 and say monitor the element. The only thing we're changing with number 3 is we're saying just district-wide instruction, correct? Alright, so is everyone good with keeping 3 the way it is? Alright, and then
am I keeping standardized and non-standardized assessment or removing that?
I think you should just remove it because then Mary Ann's goal kind of speaks a little bit more to that. So let's just keep 3 as is with the only change to it being monitor the alignment of district-wide instruction, because then again, that captures from preschool to the students that get to stay with us till they're 22. Alright, then let's read, do you have 4? We'll make this a goal 4 in learning. Do you have that written down, Shauna, what 4 is? Will you just read it one more time?
Just give me 1 second,
Yep,
I'm
take your
highlighting
time.
the changes so
Nope,
that.
take your time.
Well,
Maybe.
yeah, I condensed it a little tiny bit. So use a comparison group of New Hampshire school districts to evaluate recent state proficiency data and establish goals for the upcoming school year.
Should we put school year? Should it actually have a year? Like, and not just put school year?
We could start, that's exactly what I was just starting to type in. For the,
We can just do it for this next coming, like it would help us, like the data they get during the school year will help us for the next year's goal.
26, 27.
Yeah, Bree, go.
These are looked at annually, right?
Right, so then it would just change the next year. This would, if we were good with it, or we can delete it out.
And then I would just personally like to say at least 5 measurements or like some type of, like not just
You mean comparison school districts?
Not the school
Oh,
district's
sorry.
assessments.
Oh, I see.
Is it graduation? Is it where they go? Is it
Well, we can leave-
standardized test?
well,
Is
we
it-
can-
The specifics.
Well, we can leave it broad reaching and then we can leave it up to Justin and his team to figure out what is it that we wanna use comparative wise. I think that would be okay. Alright,
Could we also see last year's data, cause that's
Yeah.
what we are seeing
That's
with
the
the
baseline, yeah.
standardized.
correct.
Like,
We already have a lot of that,
Yeah,
We do.
yeah, we do.
We do.
so,
Yeah.
we just need to perhaps make it more visible,
Alright, so pause before anyone else. So we're good with 1, 2, 3, we're good with 4.
I've resaved it.
One more time, Sean.
Use a comparison group of New Hampshire school districts to evaluate recent state proficiency data and establish goals for the academic year 26-27.
I feel like that's pretty good. 3 and 4 bridge that gap.
I
Justin,
just have a point of clarification. I hear Mary Ann's goal talking about proficiency scores. That to me means standardized testing only. I hear Bree also talking about what are those other measures we can report out? Graduation rates, number of kids with ELOs going into certificate programs.
Yes.
Really worthwhile measures, but those are not proficiency rates. So in terms of the wording, if we wanna do both, let's just be very careful that we're including both, because right now, all I hear is proficiency rates there.
but then would that not goal 3 not take care
Goal
of that?
three,
Goal three
yeah,
addresses that.
monitor the alignment of district-wide instruction, assessment, and reporting to build consistency across the district related to personalized student learning.
That's the personalized student.
So it's there where
Or we could put non-state proficiency data, or.
No, I mean, as long as I know the
I mean,
charge is for us to do both, I'm good.
yes. Oh, okay.
So basically, I'm trying to think of things that would highlight the good things we're doing, that can be compared across districts. I don't know what other state data is out there that we could use, like graduation rates,
Graduation
I
rate,
think,
right.
is there. I don't know about ELOs and other things that we're doing, whether that can be also compared at across districts.
So I guess real quick, is the board on the understanding that goal 3 is what that other stuff that we've been doing and goal 4 is more of the standard and more of like
Sure.
looking at
Yes.
different things. You all
Yes.
understand that.
I do now. Yes.
Yep, you're good. Jack, did you have something?
Just what you guys all just said.
Okay, all right, so are we good with learning? I feel like that's pretty good. All right, let's look at personnel, 1 and 2. So goal 1 is evaluate the performance of the SAU, including staffing, operation, and organization. I feel like that should stay there.
Yep.
We need to keep that. All right. Number 2, ensure the implementation of an organizational chart with succession plan utilizing job description, which include the qualities of being evaluated annually per school year. I feel like we've done that, but I feel like this is a good goal to continue.
ongoing
It's an ongoing goal.
It's
Yep, go ahead.
so is the qualities of being evaluated annually per school year, that's within all the job descriptions, or is the school board evaluating the organizational chart? I don't understand.
Are you talking about 2?
Two, yeah. I don't, yeah, so if this is a chart,
It's really just an organizational chart.
and do we review that annually, or?
If there's
about the
major
people?
changes,
Yeah, I think what I've done recently
Yeah.
is like when there were larger changes, whether it's to job descriptions or reporting chains, I bring that forward to
Yeah.
this group here. And in fact, I think that at our last meeting, I
You
shared,
did.
I'm gonna do that exact thing here on August 14th. So we can look at how it's impacted special education specifically.
okay. I feel like that's good enough for personnel. Is there anything else that someone feels like questions or? Alright, cool, moving on. So the community connection and communication, we already decided that we're gonna remove 1 and 2, and then we'll keep 3. What about 4, 5, and 6? Anybody have any questions about those?
I think they're ongoing goals from prior years that have been great in helping with the communication and connection piece with student, staff, family, and stakeholders.
And
So I'd
turning
like
a
to
corner,
keep those.
Absolutely. That's
Okay.
great.
So do we feel like we need to add any goals to this? Cause I feel like some of what we were talking about earlier kind of got identified in learning with that 4th goal that we put. Alright, so are we good with just now renumbering these as 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yes.
I wanted to
Yep, go ahead.
make one change to 5
Absolutely, what's up?
and split it into 2 goals.
Okay,
And
what
have,
part?
stop after communication.
Okay,
And then have a separate goal of increase engagement with stakeholders, students, staff, and community. And part of that increased engagement with stakeholders, student, staff, and community, I think we do a really good job with like the student, staff, family share and encouraging community members to meet with district administrators, I think is having a positive impact. I'd like to make sure that anybody who reaches out to the board to provide input, whether it's questions or comments, get some response from the board, not necessarily when people come, delegates and individuals, not necessarily to respond at the moment, but just a brief thank you for your participation, email from a board member. And if that, I know online we have a TRSD email address to address the entire board if somebody wanted to email the whole board. I don't know if I used that last year, but I don't think sending emails to all board members always gets a response from somebody.
well,
It's not clear to me the lines, how that works.
so sometimes with emails, if a bunch of people are attached to it, it comes into a thing of, well, who are they actually talking to? Who do they wanna respond to? So, I mean, they can email any of us, they can, if it's specific people from like your own district, I would assume that, then the people, say, if someone emails a big group of us and it's a Danville person, well, then I would assume that the Danville rep, or sometimes the chair, the vice chair will say, hey, thank you for your comments, or, do that matter. So I mean, it's sometimes it's very hard to answer every single one.
We
Bree,
can
and then-
establish that. as
Yeah,
a
but we can
board.
establish something. Bree and then Mark.
Just wanna communicate that sometimes emails go unresponded because it has now become a quorum.
Yeah.
And we're not allowed to hold a meeting electronically through an email interaction which is defined as just a simple back and forth with.
Yep. And I understand what you're saying, and more communication is better. I think actually you and I, before you were even on the board, different town, we did communicate. I was one of the people that did reach out, but it was very difficult for me. A, you weren't my constituent, and B, I think I took pains to say, hey, I'm just talking from my own perspective. This is where I'm approaching it. These are my thoughts, and we may have even spoken on the phone. So I make myself available that way. Perhaps not everybody is willing to or wanting. And it does increase the liability for individual members, as we just got from the training earlier. I would be kind of hesitant to have that, to put something in policy to communicate and respond to every single person, because there are some members of the community who may engage us on a more consistent basis than it would allow us to respond in an appropriate manner. You could have one or two people who do that. You see that online some of the time. People just post question after question, not wanting the answers. If we put something down to respond every single time, we could be overwhelmed and bogged down. That being said, my personal philosophy, spoke even before you're on the board or even thought of running, because you had some good questions and I didn't have the answer to some of them. But I'd be hesitant what we put down in here in writing, committing us to responding to everything. Because we could, for a while, I was getting 20 a day.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily wanna put that into the goals, just to
talking.
explain the increase
Yeah.
in great engagement part.
But what we
and
could
then
do
work
is
on-
we could put some information out there that would make the individuals who are asking questions, make them more successful in getting their answers, like, hey, if this happens, this is the next step that you should do. If you're really wanting a specific question, email XYZ. Like, there's some information that we could do. And then Shauna, I think there was something were you wanting to say something?
No, I think it's been covered
Actually,
in this communication.
between what you just said and the delegates and individuals, I know that's so frustrating when people say things and you want to respond. Perhaps we should, as a board, look at charging our superintendent to, evaluate, hey, were those just statements, this is my value statement as a parent, or if there are questions that are being asked that, that actually there's information that should be coming from this office to them. That is something that we could focus on more. if that's where you were kind of going with it.
Back to the goal, cause
Okay,
like I said, no, it's fine, it's all really good, it's all really good information, but I do think goal five could be split up. And or it could, I mean, it really could stay the same.
Cause some of that increased engagement isn't related to subcommittee work. I think
That's
subcommittee
true.
work
Yeah.
is really about improving communications.
Hang
putting
on, I got
information
an
out
idea.
there.
I'm wordsmithing something. Please
You
hold.
guys have anything?
I hear Mary Ann talking about a tone that she's attempting to get into the goal about how the board receives and communicates with the public.
Which I think that's good. So,
Hold on.
yeah, I know Shauna's talking while she's doing that. So, all right, so, but I think splitting up that goal is good. So is the board good with the address the subcommittee work through regular updates at school board meetings to improve communication and stop? I think that's good. That should be continued ongoing. All right, so then we're adding a goal after that, and then I'm gonna let Shauna.
I'm just wordsmithing both of your,
Nope, you're good.
to see if I can come up with something as the person who writes goals for a living. I'm missing a piece of it, so I'm gonna read it out loud and then if you guys can help me. So I actually reworded it to if it's one goal, the primary focus should be increase engagement with stakeholders, students, staff, and community, including but not limited to regular subcommittee work updates at school board meetings to improve communication, and I'm missing that other piece there.
Responsiveness to queries.
There you go.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so leave that whole thing together then.
I think the
Yeah.
increasing engagement is the primary thing that we should be reading, not the subcommittee piece. Is that, did I
That makes sense.
capture that? Okay.
So finish your thing. Yep.
So in responsiveness to,
Queries.
thank you. Is that okay? Do you want me to reread it?
Reread it one more time.
Increase engagement with stakeholders, students, staff, and community, including but not limited to regular subcommittee work updates at school board meetings to improve two-way communication, and responsiveness to queries.
Yes. All right. I like that. Everybody else like it?
Does
Right.
it have,
No, Bree, what?
does it have to be two-way?
I was just gonna actually take that,
Take two ways out.
just
Yeah.
improve communication.
Yes, Jack.
So under this, I wanna add a goal, but the problem with adding a goal is once you start having too many goals, you start watering everything down and, we used to keep it to like to 4, 5
Well-
max.
Well, hey, we took out two, so you're still good.
So one thing I would like is to work with the community. We have 11 libraries. Maybe create a mentoring program throughout the community on reading or math labs. I mean, I've said this publicly a couple times, but there are so many kids out there that could use a little bit of extra, whether it's a grandparent meet the kids on a Saturday morning. I don't know what it is, but I think
Well,
Do you wanna
getting-
add that to 6?
Hey, let's look at 6.
I think that's speaking
Because
towards
6
That's it. Well, I
Just
didn't
listen, it
read
says, well, hold up,
Go ahead, read
it says develop opportunities for parents, students, staff, stakeholders, and community to engage in activities to support improved mental health / wellness. Or we could add,
Academic
Education,
concepts.
can we just add education, educational opportunities to it and?
yeah, then we can call it a day.
Yeah, that's fine, that's fine. That's right. I saw
Develop
wellness and-
opportunities and educational what?
Just at the end, add in educational
Opportunities.
opportunities.
Well, develop opportunities is at
Or
the beginning.
enhancement,
Hold up.
how am I gonna say this?
Hold up, let me think. Let me go to my mind.
Why can't you just say
Health,
and
wellness, and
education?
educational opportunities.
Well, it's already opportunities isn't the
Just
thing.
say and education.
Yeah, and education, right? Yeah, develop opportunities for parents, students, staff.
Hold on, I'm almost there. I got it.
Improved educational development, mental health / wellness.
That still looks weird to me, but okay, hold on.
Just, it's okay, we just,
Because development and develop is
Yeah.
still in there.
Yeah.
So develop opportunities for parents, students, staff, and stakeholders, students, staff, and stakeholders, and community to engage in,
activities.
hold on.
Just say learning.
to
Say
support
learning.
mental health, wellness,
And learning.
and
Learning.
learning.
There you go. Like it.
One last suggestion, after the word opportunities, / programs, so a little bit more formalized program where people can get involved. Opportunities is, in my mind, just kind of open.
Well, it says to engage in activities to support. So activities could be a program, it could be, I mean, am I
Mhm.
right?
We wanna
No,
keep
I
it
agree.
So it kind of,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
Wordsmithing isn't mine.
I know. It's okay. We're here for you. All right, are we good with community connection and communication? Do we need to add anything? I feel like we're good. All right, moving on. Facilities and learning environment. Number 1, adopt and monitor current budget while identifying concerns / gaps that impact student learning environments to be addressed through the budgetary planning process. I feel like that's an ongoing goal. Okay. And then number 2, ensure the district-wide maintenance schedule reports both short-term and long-term projects to be done in alignment with the facilities master plan, strategic plan, and capital improvement plan, and are addressed through the budgetary process.
Should we get rid of strategic plan on
Or anything that brings to the end.
Do we want to get rid of,
Scratch strategic.
do you all see a problem with getting rid of the strategic plan in that goal?
We're currently implementing it, so perhaps, but
Could you say,
it goes through 2028.
Right.
alignment with but not limited to?
We can leave it for this year because the current
Yeah, we could
strategic
leave it
plan
for
goes
this
through
year.
2028.
Yeah, we could leave it for this year, and then when
This
they
year.
come up with something new, then you can change it,
We
right?
can
It'd be pretty
update
tough, I
these
think,
goals
right
at any
now.
point in time, right?
I mean, it's not like we have
Without
necessarily
limited.
alignment between the facilities plan and the capital improvement plan,
Right.
so if somebody to follow all those things might be kind of hard to do.
Cheers. Go ahead.
So I've seen the strategic plan and I've seen the capital improvement plan, but I've never seen a district-wide maintenance schedule or a facilities master plan.
Interesting, you should say.
Be ensuring.
Yes, you may.
Sure, so the district-wide facilities master plan is part of the strategic plan and was to be charged, the new facilities director was to be charged with moving forward with that in conjunction with my staff. The maintenance plan is each department has their own preventative maintenance plan throughout the year, in addition to everything that happens in the work order process. I can explain the work order process that we have. I don't know how detailed
I don't think
the
we
board
need.
wants to get.
Would you just would you like one of the board meeting agenda items to bring that up so that we can just see it? Cause it's been a while, I think, since we've seen it. Or Jack.
Or just make it
Send it to us.
available.
Yeah, or just make it
Yeah,
available.
just make it available.
I
Jack,
think it's more important, Mr. Springer, to understand that we're doing things like the facility audit, if I'm not mistaken, identifying every single thing, so that kind of coincides with what's being said here.
Right.
It's that's what do we call it? We call it a facility
Master
strategic
plan.
capital improvement plan that addresses, basically, they're all meshed into each other.
Yeah.
So really, that was part of the strategic plan to get to a point where we did a facilities audit, which helps us have a maintenance schedule. All of that is driven off of that facilities audit, right? So we know 5 years from now, we need a new vehicle or a new tractor, or we need a new lawnmower. So I mean, I think there's a lot of, correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Martin, a lot of heavy lifting going on with those types of things.
We had to move that forward into the next budget cycle, for a number of reasons, but that will be part of the next budget cycle, hopefully.
So I'm
Yep.
hearing that most of that information is in the strategic plan, which we're not monitoring anymore. So
We have a strategic plan, it's in place,
It's in place.
being implemented and monitored. I think the conversation was when the next cycle comes up to maybe pursue a different process.
Different
Right.
model.
so
when I said the board isn't monitoring the strategic plan, because we dissolved the strategic plan committee, right? I know the administration is still doing that, but we
Yeah.
don't see.
well, we also get updates about the strategic plan through the administrative reports and other stuff that, yes.
That's what drives the work, and if we want to ever reflect upon, say,
Yeah.
it's a facilities issue, any one of us can go in there and carry it around with me, for whatever reason.
So are we leaving that language?
We'll leave it in for this year, and then when if we come up with something else, then we can. Yes, Bree?
Perhaps consider like a biannual presentation of the strategic plan, just so
Yeah.
that we can see that it's being done.
Okay.
Agreeable.
Okay. Guys, we really did it. Anything else for goals? All right. Do we? No, we need to make a motion to act. All right, so we read through all these. Does anybody have any other questions about our goals? Okay, does someone want to make a motion to approve the 25-26 school board goals?
As
Can I
amended.
Yep, Shauna.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, Sean, go ahead.
I mean, I did all does it have to be voted on tonight? Is this something we can put on the agenda for the 14th meeting, the August 14th meeting, so that I can share this out with people so they can see it, or do you care about
Well, we
taking action
read
now?
everything. If we want to, we can approve them tonight and then we can still have them on the next agenda. That way, if there's any clerical, like whatever, because the overall goals really shouldn't change. I mean, is the board okay with that? Or if not, we can wait till the next meeting to approve them, but it's, I don't
Board's
think.
okay with that.
I won't be.
Really, what
Board
I'm wondering
members.
is if you trust my typing.
I trust your typing.
Alrighty then.
All right.
I'd really like to move forward with the goals
Right.
in
Cool.
place tonight, so
Yep.
we can begin the
Yeah,
plan for
that's why I don't wanna-
operational and beginning the
Yep.
school year with staff, so.
I'm gonna send them to you.
Appreciate that. All right, so who wants to make a motion to approve the 25-26 school board goals as amended?
So.
Oh, Don made the motion. Do I
I'll
have a
second
second?
it.
Jack seconded. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed and abstained. Alrighty, now, other business, or no, sorry. Where am I at? Yeah, you don't have, do you have anything administrative wise?
No, we
Okay.
kept it light.
Alright, any other business at this time, guys? Yeah, Bree.
Maybe it's, should go on the next meeting or not, but I think we might need a cell phone policy subcommittee or something happening.
All set, moving on it.
Excellent.
So then maybe do we just, during policy committee, we could get an update from the policy committee members?
Sounds like a great idea.
Wait,
Who's on that policy?
policy is doing that, right?
That's what they just said.
Okay.
Sandy, did you wanna?
1 minute.
Please.
So we met as a policy committee earlier today at 1:00 this afternoon. We just received around noon today a sample policy from the New Hampshire School Boards Association connected to the cell phone bill. That reflects all of the different aspects of it that our our speakers delegates earlier this evening spoke to. So we have a plan as a policy committee to review that sample policy administratively, to bring it to our teams. And we will look at it at our next meeting, which is the first week of August right now. So we have a plan, we're actively working on it, and vetting it against the RSA that was passed, so.
Jack.
So my concern, I heard this pass, and is I don't want parents and students getting this last minute, because it does have to be implemented. If we do this August 14th, I won't be here, and so maybe that'll work for everybody, it'll be a shorter meeting. But I think you have to have something in place by that meeting, because I don't think we have another meeting before the school year starts, correct?
Correct.
So that policy will have to be adopted. And I know it's not as simple as if a kid pulls a cell phone out, you take it away and have the parents come and get it.
Right.
We have a grace period.
Just,
There's a
so the policy itself will align to the law. We have a legal obligation to be in compliance with the law, whether or not our policy has been updated. Correct. Right? So we may lag behind. We will still have an obligation to be implementing the different components of the law. So our administrators are working on handbooks right now. And procedurally, some of those things are the things that our building teams would be working on with regard to implementation, follow through, follow up, all of those things. So we're actively working on all of that.
I asked that question so I could get that answer, which I kind of already.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
I have one little thing, and I know it's gonna get completely laughed at and
Hold on
voted
just
down.
1 second.
Oh, I'm
Bree,
sorry.
did you have anything else? Good. Okay. All right, go ahead.
So I'm gonna be out of town on the 14th. Any flavor for moving the meeting up a week?
No.
No, okay.
Good try, appreciate that.
I thought I'd give it a shot.
All right, any other business?
I didn't know Sean was the chair.
Yeah, that's it. All right, do we have any more delegates or individuals at this time? All right, we do not have a non-public. I'm gonna close this meeting at 6:32. Have a good rest of the day, everyone.